Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 8 Premium German Battleship Tirpitz. It has 8 main guns, 28 secondary guns, 72 AA guns, 8 torpedoes, a top speed of 30.5 knots, total health 69,300. For my modules, reduce crit chance on main battery, increase main battery accuracy, reduce flooded fire chance, faster rudder shift, and for my commander, situation awareness, faster turret traverse, lower cooldown on damage control, superintendent, and last stand. We are on the map Hotspot, and let me just explain my build for a second. Don't do this if you just have the Tirpitz, if you haven't spent any time leveling the German cruisers. If this is your cruiser captain, which it's mine, which you should do, you should never have an assigned captain for your premium. Make use of the ability to swap in and swap out freely without associating with that premium ship. Since this is my cruiser captain, last stand is required for the German cruiser line. They are just too vulnerable to propulsion and steering being knocked out. But if I was just having it for the Tirpitz, I would not get last stand. Get advanced firing training, get anything else other than last stand, because last stand is basically a waste for the Tirpitz. It's very rare that propulsion or steering are ever knocked out, and if they are, I have a premium damage control module, so it's easy to deal with. I just want you to understand, don't take last stand if it's just for the Tirpitz. So you notice I'm not headed A. I'm not even in line of sight to engage a lot of these targets. I like to go for B. I feel like I'm kind of countering the default meta, where everyone heads to A for the battleships and the cruisers. Everyone heads to C for the destroyers and the cruisers that spawn over there. And nobody goes for B. So I think B is very important. Anytime I can get free objectives and put pressure on the enemy on other parts of the map and overwhelm them, I'm going to do it. Enemy New Orleans is trying to retreat. We fired on this particular ship while I was giving my little explanation on the build, and we're hoping to kill him here. Oh, yes, we do. Wow, we got good dispersion there. Okay, we did not deserve that kill. That was a hard shot. He was moving away and at an angle. Now, this Atlanta, not a hard shot. This guy's moving backwards, and he's broadside to us, so we're going to fire with a little lead, very little lead. And you can see we didn't lead quite as much as we needed to. Unfortunately, we probably underestimated the lead by about 4 tick marks, give or take. And an enemy Cleveland is engaging us. We can't capture B with this Cleveland harassing us. So eventually, Notser, you're going to have to take out that Cleveland. But we're going to try and get another shot on this guy. If we can take him out, it's an easy kill. Someone does a lot of damage to the Cleveland. I really appreciate that. And I have a single fire right now. I'm holding just in case another fire is placed on my ship. Then I'll use damage control. I've got 4 heals because of Superintendent. Oh, it's so glorious. That particular skill is moving up my importance chain. It's right up with there with situation awareness, last stand. Superintendent is awesome. Faster turret traverse. I just love it. And we fire on the enemy Cleveland. We get pretty good damage. We're able to capture it. He missed. He underestimated me moving away. So in that regard, we have B. The enemy has C. And it's still in flux with A, but we lost a guy in at A. Shocking, right? You don't want to go into A. A is too dangerous on Hotspot, the new Hotspot. So we know there's a couple enemies in at C. Enemy Mitsuki shows up. We're going to use our torpedoes since we have them. Friendly finishes off the Cleveland when I look back, so all I got to do is focus on these enemies. It's a Farragut, an Atlanta, and a Mitsuki. The Mitsuki, of course, is closest, and he is well within range to do whatever he wants to me. And I don't want him to do anything to me. He almost was going to run into the torpedoes. We fire our back guns. We do pretty good damage, I would say, with AP loaded. He sends out torpedoes. They're just far enough back that I feel like I can fully turn to counter the Mitsuki. I feel like he's going to go north. Maybe he's going to make a break for it. Or maybe he's going to try and torpedo one of my allies. That's the feeling I was getting while I'm heading north. The enemy Atlanta is kind of sitting behind an island. He is vulnerable to, of course, me in the friendly Atago. Enemy Amagi is making me angry by firing on me. And we're able to do 5k to the Atlanta. Not as much as I would like, but I'm helping my team, who's on the eastern side of the map. They could potentially take the Atlanta out. He's much lower than anyone on our team on that side. And, again, the Mutsuki is still here. Remember that. I have AP loaded. Part of that is trying to take the Atlanta out. But ideally, you would want HE. I don't care how much damage you've done with AP. I almost killed the Mutsuki with AP. HE is just a better ammo type to fire against destroyers. And we're going to have our aircraft for 50 seconds. At this point, I was looking at that. I was saying, okay, I have access to probably one more pass to get extended viewing range to kind of detect this guy. And he comes out from the island. Looks like he was burning, and he just barely saved his life. And I'm like, he's dead. That dispersion, though. Fall short, fall long, and here come the torpedoes. So we're able to react pretty quickly thanks to the aircraft. That was very advantageous for it to fly over at that precise moment. We completely dodged these. I'm not going to worry about getting the back in position. I just need the front to reload at this point. And the front is nearly reloaded. He's turning, and this is the vulnerable spot. Your ship is basically locked in a turn. And yes, we got him that time. The dispersion was not terrible like the previous shot. And anytime the target is in a turn, the turn is pretty predictable. Now you see that enemy Fubuki. That's what I saw. I was going, okay, there's a Fubuki here. This Fubuki is going to probably want to put pressure on me. I'm visible right now. And I felt like anytime a battleship heads into sea, he's vulnerable to torpedo attacks. So I was like, okay, eventually I'm going to have to commit to fighting a destroyer. I was going to get myself psyched up for that, because we really do need sea. Sea helps our team put pressure on the enemy to do something. Anytime you force the enemy to have to do something to win the game, you can pretty much exploit every opportunity given to you. So, we're in a big ship. We can't really turn that fast, so I had to get to the wide open area of sea in order to turn into it. While we're doing this, an enemy Tirpitz is pretty low near B. We're going to have one chance to fire. And that's what we do. Now we turned a little bit too sharp in order to pull all our guns into firing position. We load HE. HE is in response to that destroyer. He was southeast of this point, and if I was that destroyer, I would be doing everything in my power to kill myself. This Tirpitz is 50% life. He's going through sea. He's vulnerable. Why isn't he over here? We're not detected. We're not detected, mind you. So we do have that advantage. We fire again with HE because we were going to load it for the destroyer. HE's satisfactory against a battleship. And we do 3,600. No fires, though. But I think the team is pretty well off. And yeah. He dies. Good. Enemy Tirpitz destroyed. Now, there's no enemy ship that has line of sight on us. You see that Amagi, he's behind an island really far away, right? So, the next thing that spots us has to be the destroyer. And I'm just looking. Is he going to come up around this island, catch me in a huge broadside position? If he were to show up right now and, yep, I'm detected. Oh, crap. He's either there or he's right in front. So I send my torpedoes to try and cover my left flank, the port side of the ship, and then I'm going to commit my guns to the front. Now, if he's in one of these positions, I have them both covered to the point where he has to react, right? He has to maneuver for the torpedoes, and he has to deal with the guns. So I'm just trying to be very careful. Now, we still don't see him. Someone has line of sight. This Amagi is not in range to see us, so the destroyer has to be within our passive detectability. Now, we've, of course, extended our range. Everyone on the map can see us now. We have access to our aircraft, and we send it up. The Amagi is in a fight with the Tirpitz. I, personally, don't want to keep it a fair fight. I want to make it a 2v1, and I have way more health than both of them at this point. we have HE loaded because of the enemy destroyer that could possibly be in the area. I'm going to immediately switch to it if I see it. So I'm kind of committing to firing a less than optimal ammo type in order to counter the largest threat to my ship, which is the Fubuki. This Amagi is not going to kill me, ever. I have too much health, I have too much angling, the Tirpitz is too tanky. I could just fire HE and destroy him. That's the kind of situation I was in. So we've got HE fully loaded, we bring all guns to bear, and we fire on the enemy Amagi. I see that his guns are not pointed at me. We get a fire, which is awesome. It's going to force out damage control, and he's going to be susceptible for the next salvo. And yep, he did. He put out the fire. So we know that any fire that we get on his ship will stick, most definitely. And he fires on us. He does minimal damage. He incapacitates one of the front guns, which is inconvenient. And for that, I have to turn my whole side, show way more than I want to, and fire the back guns. Still waiting on the front gun. Finally, it'll start reloading. And of course, he's firing on us. We get no actual damage. We only take out a AA gun. He gets a pretty good shot. He takes out 8K with that shot, and he gets another 8K. He also destroys that same gun. So now we're running with 3. And the back guns are the only ones that can really do the normal amount of damage. So what I'm going to commit to do, and I don't really recommend this, and look at that dispersion. Great dispersion. Yes, that couldn't have been better on the Tirpitz. That's really the weakness, is the gun accuracy. We are turning a 180 to put our most damaging side towards the enemy. And we finally get that second fire. He is going to have to burn for, probably 45 seconds, near max. He does have damage control coming back up very shortly, probably 30 seconds, maybe 45. But that's a lot of free damage. And now we have our back guns, which are at full strength, on the target. We're maintaining a pretty good angling. It's not really worth it to get the front gun in position. Friendly Tirpitz does a ton of damage to the enemy Amagi. And look who shows up. Enemy Fubuki went all the way south, and he hid for as long as he could until he was right on top of the friendly Tirpitz. It's really good that I decided to help him in his fight against the Amagi, or he would be dead, and it would still be a 2v1 in their favor. I noticed that the Fubuki is kind of stuck on the border, so I'm going to fire exactly at his location, hoping to land a shot on him. And we miss with our first salvo. The friendly Tirpitz is pretty low. They have nearly the same amount of hit points. Just put that in perspective. A Fubuki at full life is nearly at the same as a Tirpitz. But the Tirpitz does have heal. He's healing himself right now. And we miss with our second. So he's moving away, and he's not very close to me. 13 kilometers. These are basically luck shots. And we get pretty lucky. Wow. 13 kilometers? Both rounds dispersed to land on the target? That is some good luck. We do 2,700 with one turret. And our back guns are ready to go. We're just trying to predict his movements. He's on fire now. He has probably committed to using damage control to bring up a steering or propulsion. And Friendly sends out torpedoes. And I think, yeah, the Fubuki's going to slam right into him. Yeah. How often does that happen? A battleship torpedoes a destroyer. If a destroyer is that close to a battleship to be torpedoed by him, he should have a huge advantage in his accuracy and ability to torpedo them. So that was just a unique situation. And we're basically out of the fight now. There's an enemy battleship all the way in the north and an enemy aircraft carrier, which could be anywhere. So this was a fun game from the standpoint that I was able to use the strategy almost exactly as planned. I hope everyone sees how I play Hotspot, and maybe you can take something from it. Don't be baited into going into A and just dying, okay? You don't need A. Most of the teams commit too much to A, and as long as you commit towards an objective to help your team, you're on the right path. 2 kills, almost $500,000 in credits, 2,000 base XP, and around 60,000 points of damage. It was just an objective game. It was taking out targets of opportunity, destroyers, and capturing points. I have made use of this particular strategy nearly every hotspot for the last 2 weeks, and 80 to 90% win rate tells me it's the right way to go. Maybe this will help you. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.